On a chilly Friday afternoon from the Marching Virginians field, it's time for Game 6 of the 2025 Virginia Tech men's lacrosse season as they welcome in the Auburn Tigers out of the SELC for the second ever meeting between the Tigers and the Hokies. Hi everybody, Braden Shank with you. So glad to be with us here on the Virginia Tech men's lacrosse YouTube channel. Again, on a very cold Friday afternoon, 34 degrees, feels like 30, some wind gusts, having to move the game up an hour, previously scheduled from 4 o'clock. But here we're just about ready to get going at 3 o'clock Eastern time between Auburn and Virginia Tech. Well, the Hokies started the season strong, a 3-0 start, wins against High Point, North Carolina in dominant fashion before going to Liberty and taking the Blue Ridge Belt against the Flames by the final score of 15-12 up there in Lynchburg. And that was when Virginia Tech took the trip to the Sunshine State last weekend, played Florida and Florida State, falling in both of those contests to the Seminoles and the Gators respectively. 15-8 and 11-6, but you learn a lot when you play these non-conferences, especially in a conference like the SLC, which is so dominant. Auburn trying to represent the conference here today. And then us for Auburn, well, 2-4 on the season. A lot of highs, and they're starting, or a lot of highs and lows, you could say. It's kind of swung back and forth for eighth-year head coach J.J. Arminio and the Tigers. 0-4 start, losses to Georgia, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and NC State before they picked up their last two wins. South Florida, and then a comeback win against West Virginia. The team trailed by 7 goals in the second quarter, down 7-0 at the 10:57 mark before the team rattled off some goals, were able to come back and take it against the Mountaineers 10-8. That's where they stand at 2-4 on the season, and Virginia Tech 3-2 in this highly anticipated contest in middle of February. Again, so glad you can be with us wherever you're tuning in from. Hopefully nice and cozy under a blanket somewhere by a fireplace. You can see the snow out in the background, still on the ground from the snow we witnessed Tuesday here in Blacksburg. Some could say good weather for lacrosse, others could say a freezing day for lacrosse, but nonetheless, should be a good one between the Tigers and the Hokies. And it was 2023 when these teams met first down in Auburn. The Hokies won that 17-2, and now it's time for the back half of the home and home. Gavin Larson and Craig Morgan, the goalies, shake the hands and will take to their respective posts. Aiden Garrett and Chris Valente to take the opening face-off here on this chilly Friday afternoon. And we are underway from the Marching Virginians fields. Stalemate at the face-off X. And it's eventually fielded by the Tigers and DeAngelis. So Auburn controls the opening face-off. They'll move it left to right in the visiting blue jerseys, blue helmets. A lot of their guys out in the pants today. And Virginia Tech in the home whites with the white helmets and the maroon numbering. The Tigers team that's put up 70 goals on the season. Looking for the first of the game. A shot, and it's in. Max Forst makes it 1-0 Auburn off the first shot of the game. And the Tigers come into Blacksburg and start with a bang. Forsyth, the freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, his 8th goal on the season. And just over 30 seconds into the contest, it's 1-0 Tigers. Forsyth, the Myers Park High School alum, taking his talents to this SELC ball club as Valente and Garrett back to the face-off dots. Face-off's always so dominant. Garrett able to win 63% of his this season. Stalemate still continues at the face-off X. Neither Fogo willing to give in. Eventually flung up into the air, and it's fielded by Virginia Tech and the long pole of Callum Ware. Hokies move it back into the defensive end. They'll navigate it right to left to open up the ball game. Pat Droney will touch it into the box. And eventually a flag thrown from our trail official, so a free possession for Virginia Tech. Hokies were so good on the man-up opportunity in their home opener against High Point a couple weeks ago. So the flag remains on the field. Virginia Tech with the free possession. Bleibon, pickpocketed. Eventually it's kicked out of play, and we'll see our first penalty of the contest. So man-up opportunity for Virginia Tech. Here 2 minutes in the ball game, they trail 1-0. Hokies on the man advantage. Around the perimeter they go with it. Shot off of the defender of an Auburn player and out of play. Possession to stay with Virginia Tech. Defender just getting the head in the game. Dixon on the restart. Shot deflected away by Morgan, the goalkeeper. And the Tigers field the ground ball. Craig Morgan, the senior goalkeeper out of Georgia. 155 saves a year ago as the starting keeper for this Auburn team. Chris Edwards to field the ground ball. Auburn unable to clear it, and now Virginia Tech moves it the other way. Dixon touches it into the box for the Hokies. 3 goals on the season for the senior, number 41 in whites. The Hokies team having to find their new prolific scorers once they graduated Jared Cole and Aiden Smith from a year ago. But showing no sign of slowing down, 75 goals through the first 5 games they've played thus far. Trevor Stocks goes to the offhand, bounces and scores. Trevor Stocks, the captain, makes it 1-1 as he nets his 6th goal on the season. Had 2 goals against High Point in the season opener, and now he gets his Hokies team on the board with 11:40 to go in quarter number 1. We stand here. Just about 11:44 to go in quarter number 1. So a penalty comes against Auburn on the slash. So the goal counts and 1, you could say, as now Virginia Tech returns to the man up. Chris Valente and Aiden Garrett back to the face-off dot. Tech with the extra player on the face-off units. Lucas Bort comes away with it. Another face-off win for Virginia Tech. As Trevor Stocks will touch it in the box and slow things down. The junior out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. One of 3 captains selected to lead this 2025 Hokies team. Joins Pat Droney and Ryan Gaffney wearing the captain honors. From the points, shot just high. That was Lucas Ferrier looking to get one, and Auburn closest to it, so the Tigers will go on the clear attempts. Hokies on the ride. And it's turned away, caused turnover for Virginia Tech, and the Hokies return it to the offense. Dixon back to Bleibon at the top of the key. Alex Ashley, the senior, slowing things down at number 42 for Virginia Tech. 12 goals already for Ashley on the season. Trying to dodge, instead just flicking the pass off. Again, new this year, both shot clocks are on the near side, so we cannot see that. However, it's still the 80-second shot clock that the MCLA's always played with. Pass is turned on over as the long pole of Caligus comes away with it. Auburn tries to clear it, and once again the Hokies ride, snuffs the Tigers. The clear causing some trouble from this visiting club from Auburn. Now the Hokies will slow things down along the 40-yard line. Tech looking to get off of a 2-game losing skid, while the Tigers will look to make it 3 straight wins here on this Friday afternoon. At X, Ashley wraps it around and shoots it off the side of the cage. Tigers back on the clear. Jack Slack trying to get it across that 50. Good ride from Virginia Tech and a long pull of Weyer. Heaving it across the 50. And Auburn able to keep it in. It's Graham Young, the sophomore, in the number 22 jersey, just keeping it in bounds. Philippus just moves it around the horn to the next guy, and Andrew Luff, the sophomore from Charlotte. And an offsides call against Auburn. So Virginia Tech will now move it right to left. Ball in the corner with it. And a timeout taken by Panchito Ojeda and Virginia Tech. So 1-1 our score. Hokies will talk things over on the timeout, and we'll step aside and be back from Blacksburg. Our score coming out of our first called timeout by Virginia Tech and sixth-year head coach Pancho Ojeda. Hokies 3-2 on the season, trying to get back in the win column after falling to Florida State and Florida last weekend. Today opening up the 3-game home stretch for Virginia Tech. Next week they will welcome in the Texas Longhorns on Friday and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets over the weekend. 2 more teams coming up from that SELC conference. And obviously a conference that South Carolina has felt like they've dominated the last couple of years. The Hokies played the Gamecocks last season, and it was a thrilling fashion. Virginia Tech won in overtime to keep their, 23-game home winning streak alive, dating back to 2023. And their last home loss came to South Carolina, speaking of the Gamecocks. Out of the timeout, Virginia Tech restarts. Hokies around the horn with it. 1-1 our score. Trevor Stocks the lone goal scorer for Virginia Tech. And Max Forsyth the lone goal scorer for the Tigers. Stocks working on the long pole. Cummins. Harrington with the right hand shoots it just wide and out of play. Possession stays with Virginia Tech. At exits O'Sullivan. The Chaminade product just retreats it out. Harrington, former D2 standout, rifles it just wide and out of play. And this one will go to Auburn as the Tigers were closest to it. And speaking of the D2 team, they'll be in action right after us at 5:30, welcoming in the Dayton Flyers for their home opener. That can be seen right here on the Virginia Tech Men's Lacrosse YouTube channel. Morgan weaves his way through some Hokie defenders before clearing it across the 50. Ryan Como, the senior, first time he'll touch the ball in the number 42 in blue jersey. Team's leader with 11 goals to his name this season. As a transfer out of LaGrange College in Georgia, scored over 130 plus Division III goals, transferring to Auburn ahead of this season. One of the prolific scorers in the Tiger uniform. Forsyth was looking for another. At X, Young. He loses his helmet. Shot, and he scores! Who needs a helmet anyways? Graham Young with the goal, and Auburn's got a 2-1 lead. Flag was thrown. We'll see if the penalty stands. But regardless, a great shot from Graham Young. And the Auburn, Alabama kid makes it 2-1. Referee delivering the verdict to the scores table. So it's a 2-minute non-releasable penalty, and they're going to take the goal off the scoreboard. So the Auburn Tigers will go to the man up now as we return to a 1-1 ball game. Referees call the cross check that knocked the helmet loose. Goes against Jack Wingfields. So the good news for the Hokies, the goal does not count. The bad news, Wingfield in the box for 2 minutes on a non-releasable penalty. Restart to come for Declan Tobin and Auburn. Tobin, the attacker out of Richfield, Connecticut, former Tiger. Now turned Tiger with the Auburn Tigers. Around the perimeter, trying to use that extra man is Auburn. Hokies on the man down for the next 2 minutes. The shot is a goal. Declan Tobin gets it right back, and Auburn makes it 2-1. Tobin, the sophomore from Connecticut. That's his third goal of the season. And again, that penalty was non-releasable, so Auburn remains on the man up for the next minute and a half. And that's big for Auburn here. You can continue to add it on, try to get another goal or two on the man up unit. Valente Garrett to take the face-off for their respective sides. Somebody went early, and they're going to give it to Auburn. Valente jumps a little early before the whistle. And the Tigers to restart it. Lencioni touches it in before handing things on over to number 22, Young. Got that bright orange head of his stick. Stands out. Tobin right back to Young. Point blank shot, stopped by Larson. Hokies will go to clear it. First stop of the day for Gavin Larson, the sophomore out of Port Jefferson Station, New York. Almost chaos, and the Hokies will continue their clear attempts. Pat Droney across the 50. Ball knocked loose, ground ball fielded by the Tigers, and Auburn continues to go left to right with it. Amon Cummins with a good job to knock it loose. Young met with the triple team. He loses it. Trevor Stocks, or rather number 9, Zach Taylor fields the ground ball. Again, the Hokies still on the man down on the 2-minute non-releasable. Still has to kill about another 20 seconds off that penalty. Goalkeeper Morgan will come out of his cage to field the ground ball before he's hit to the ground. Penalty officially expired for Virginia Tech. So the Hokies back to full strength. Only 1 goal for the Tigers they got on the man-up units. It's almost the equivalent of what the referees wiped off the board for Auburn. Jackson Derrick, the sophomore from Olney, Maryland, comes in, the number 9 in blue. Short stick midfielder. Maroney starts his dodge to the right. Tries to feed it to Young. Instead finds a shot, and it's off the side piping. DeFilippis rings the aluminum. And Trevor Stocks will guide it out. So the ball will go to Virginia Tech. Fresh 80 reset on the shot clock. That was a shot that deflected all the way back to the other 40-yard line. Talk about putting some velocity on it. Here's Dixon dodging to his right. Passing off to Stocks, and he just loses it out of the head of his stick. And a push will be called against Auburn, keeping it with Virginia Tech. So the Hokies retain the possession inside their offensive ends. Trailing 2-1 here in quarter number 1. Dixon working on the short stick. Lencioni, shot just wide and out of play, staying with Virginia Tech. O'Sullivan on the restart. Trying to get his team their second goal of the ball game. Lang tries the swim move before retreating it out. Under 3 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Verrier shot. It's a goal. Bar down. And Lucas Verrier has his 6th of the season to tie us up at 2 apiece. Had to make sure the ball crossed the plane of the goal, and the referee says it does, as Verrier has his first of the afternoon, 6th of the season. And the Topsfield Mass native makes it 2-2. Verrier, three goals against High Point in the season opener. Added one against Connecticut, against UNC rather, another one against Florida State. And just like that, it's a 2-2 game. Jake Toomey to take the faceoff for Virginia Tech, the junior in his first year with the team. Kotarski to take it for Auburn. Faceoff's pretty even at the X so far. Toomey trying to kick it out into the empty space. And the ground ball's fielded by Callum Wayer and Virginia Tech. Long pull in the box. Stocks, one more to Blybomb. Shot just wide. So after the shot, Virginia Tech maintains the possession. 2:30 to go in quarter number 1. Sullivan at X. Sees his way around the cage, wraps it around, and shoots it just wide. Hits off the side of the cage, and Morgan will collapse on it. Tigers back on the clear. Lencioni across the 50, over to Jack Slack, the senior. The clear, a portion of the game Auburn has struggled with in this opening quarter, as a flag has been thrown, a shot rifled just wide, and a penalty coming against Virginia Tech. We'll see what they get on the penalty. "30-second penalty goes against Ashley of Virginia Tech. So Alex Ashley takes a knee in the box, and the Tigers return man up. Auburn around the perimeter with it. Young. Or a pass to Luff. Gets it off and stopped by the defensive likes of Virginia Tech. Ball's dislodged, and the long pole of Wingfield regroups. Offsides against Auburn, so Virginia Tech will get the ball back as Ashley clears the box. Successful penalty kill for Virginia Tech, as Zach Taylor clears it across the 50. Dislodged by Andrew Luff and Auburn. Immediately met with a pair of Virginia Tech defenders. Ground ball fielded. Forsyth and the Tigers left to right. Final minutes of quarter number 1. And the referee calling time, letting the scores table know the shot clock's got to continue to run. So after the officials' timeouts, Tigers retain the possession. Pass just wide, and we'll skip on over to the Virginia Tech bench out of play. Hokies get the ball back. 30 seconds to go before the quarter breaks. Successful clear by the long pole of Droney. Blybomb trying to get to cage. Spins his way, takes the shot, spikes it just over the cage, and this one will bounce out of play. Still 10 seconds to go before the quarter breaks. Quick restart. Stocks trying to wrap it around. Takes the shot, and he's knocked loose. And that will take us to the end of quarter number 1. Virginia Tech 2, Auburn 2. 15 minutes in the books. Still a lot of lacrosse left to be played here on this Friday afternoon from the Marching Virginians field. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Quarter number 2 here from the Marching Virginians field. Auburn 2, Virginia Tech 2. So glad to be with us on this Friday afternoon in Blacksburg, Virginia. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Up on the hill with some wind. Feels a little bit less than that. Still some snow on the ground. But we've got some MCLA college lacrosse action for you. Auburn opened up the scoring, took a 1-0 lead thanks to Max Forsyth, and then Virginia Tech responded with a Trevor Stocks goal. Tigers added their second on the man-up look after a 2-minute non-releasable went against Virginia Tech, and the Hokies added one later on in the period to make us 2-2, and that's where we stand here in quarter number 2. Game 6 of the season for Virginia Tech, 3-2 on the year thus far. Started the year winners of their first 3 against High Point, North Carolina, and Liberty. Cooled off heading to the Sunshine State last weekend, falling to Florida and Florida State. And then as for Auburn, 2-4 they enter in. Losers of their first 4, flags thrown, and Larson will fall on the ball in his circle. Slash penalty to go against Virginia Tech, and Callum Weyer will be the guilty party for it. So far, the flags have not gone in favor of Virginia Tech. Auburn's seen a couple man-up opportunities. Able to capitalize on the one. So a 30-second penalty goes against Callum Weyer. And the long pole will take a knee in the box. As the Auburn will look for more goals here on the man-up opportunity. Restart for the Tigers. Around the perimeter they move it. Tobin, he's got a goal today. Scored the man-up goal. Rifle of the pass just trickles out of play. And nobody made a call for whose ball it is. And they're going to keep it with Auburn.
Not a shot, that was a pass.
Referee calling it a shot, thus keeping it with the Tigers. It was confusing at first. There was no call as Tobin takes the shot out of play. Restart for Auburn. Still on the man-up opportunity. Tobin. Man-up has expired away. Hokies back to full strength. Young trying to wrap it around at the X. Commanding his offense. 40 seconds on the shot clock for Auburn. Looking to continue the long possession. Young double-teamed, hits it off the side piping. And Larson saved by the aluminum. Young dodging at X once again. Ball knocked loose. And it's eventually fielded by the long pole of Zach Morgan. Before the ref will intervene. Call the hold against Auburn to keep it with Virginia Tech. Slowing down the ride just a bit for the Tigers, giving the Hokies a fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock. Vincent Genovese, the long pole checking in, the number 7 in whites. Hoping the Hokies touch it into the box. Kyle Dixon, the senior from Huntington Station, New York. The one just slowing it down for Virginia Tech. For letting Lucas Verrier go into cage. Shoots it. Stopped by Craig Morgan. And Morgan will just fall to the ground before corralling the ball. Senior out of Georgia. Selected to the SELC preseason watch list in the conference. One of the top goalkeepers in the Southeastern Lacrosse Conference. Well, it's one of those things, the predominant SEC conference not sponsoring men's lacrosse. So it would be cool, though, if you could get some of those national powerhouses like the Alabamas, the Floridas, Florida State's, Auburn's put together a powerhouse conference at the D1 level. Lobato tries with the left before dishing out behind the cage. Tobin met with the double team. Takes the shot just wide, and it will stay with the Tigers. Declan Tobin coming off of 4 shots taken against the Georgia Bulldogs earlier this season. Guy that definitely is not afraid to rifle it on net. Neither team yet to score in quarter number 2. We remain tied at 2 apiece. Tobin stopped by the big spoon of Larson.
Let's go, Jeremy!
Gavin Larson, the second-year sophomore out of New York. He'll go on the clear for Virginia Tech, on over to Edwards. Spinning his way past the 50 before regrouping the ball. Larson also coming off of the start against Florida in the last game, making 19 saves in that win, as now Morgan's got a save of his own. Both goalkeepers holding strong here in the second period. Slack in the box with it. Lobato, the native of Great Falls, Virginia, coming back to the Commonwealth for this one. Tobin just losing it, and now the Hokies will come the other way. With some speed, it's Taylor. Zach Taylor, the defensive midi, off to the wing. Alex Ashley using the screen from Blybaum.
Here we go, D!
Flag has been thrown by the center official, so a free possession coming for Virginia Tech. And skipping it in for the goal is Trevor Stocks. Hokies able to capitalize, flag waved off, and Trevor Stocks has his second of the game, and the Hokies have their first lead. Just a great pass down low for Trevor Stocks to go low on Craig Morgan for his 7th of the season, and it's a 3-2 Hokie lead. Stocks now up to 21 career goals. Just over 6 minutes gone here in quarter number 2. Garrett and Toomey to take the face-off for their respective sides. Garrett kicks it past the restraining line, and the Tigers unable to field it. Ball to Virginia Tech. Hokies restarted after the whistle. And after the goal from Trevor Stocks gave him a newfound 3-2 lead. Harrington across the 50 with it. The D2 standout from a year ago. Larson right back to Harrington. Richmond, Virginia kid. O'Sullivan working on the short stick of Slack. Right back to the top to Ashley. He goes to his left. Long pull pushes him out. Harrington trying to get somewhere near that cage, but the Auburn defense holding strong. Ashley dodging up the lane. Takes the shot and scores. Going 5-hole is Alex Ashley. He's got his 13th on the season, and the Hokies a 2-goal lead. Was the Warrior Player of the Week 2 weeks ago after his performance against Liberty. Put up 6 goals in the big win against the Flames. continuing on his hot ways early in the 2025 season. The All-ALC third-team selection a year ago. Continues to lead the Hokies in the scoring department. 4-2 our score, just about halfway through quarter number 2. Once again, a stalemate at the face-off dot. Valente and Garrett with it. The third or fourth time these two Fogos have just waited at the X. Let the clock tick down. Eventually, Garrett makes the move, but the Hokies come away with it. Famo, the long pole, picks it up. And that was one of the things when Virginia Tech took on the Liberty Flames. Their Fogo, the Drip King, as he's known on Instagram. Supposedly a tough task for Virginia Tech, but they were able to hold strong as this ball is just trickling inside the circle. Some confusion. The Hokies thought that ball rolled past the end line and should have been, or rolled past the goal line rather, and should have been counted. Call against Auburn, and eighth season head coach J.J. Arminio having a word with our referee. Former standout at Auburn, now head coach for the Tigers. Took over the head position in 2018. Refs will now meet. Refs still talking. There was some pushing and shoving along that goalie circle. Ball got very close to potentially breaking the goal line. And it's going to be Virginia Tech ball. Actually, they're going to give it to Auburn. So originally was given to Virginia Tech, then they overturned it to Auburn. Now Panchito Ojeda having a word with our referees. So the Tigers will get the ball thanks to the whistle after the confusion. So still waiting here at the Marching Virginians Fields. After the back and forth pushing and both sidelines yelling things out. Restart coming from Morgan, the goalkeeper, and we're back underway. High pass dislodged. So the Hokies will get it thanks to the whistle. Fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock for Tech. And Alex Ashley back on the offense. Dodging his way to the cage, shooting it just wide and out of play. Restart for Tech. They lead this game by 2. Dixon. Fake the shot. Takes it this time, just wide. And out of play. Hokies continuing to pepper the shots on Craig Morgan and cage. Verrier goes up Broadway. Deflected out. Virginia Tech just continuing to shoot the ball. Lang finds the cutter. Blybaum able just to deflect it away before he hits the deck. Push called against Auburn. Tech maintaining the possession. And a slash called against Virginia Tech. It will give the ball to Auburn. Red whistle going against the offense, and the Tigers to restart deep in their own defensive territory. Lencioni just tiptoeing that yellow out of bounds line before staying in. Now Auburn able to take the sigh of relief here as they're in the offensive end. Tigers led this game 2-1. The Hokies have rattled off 3 straight goals. Auburn trying to keep it close. Maroney. Here's Derek. Spinning his way, retreating out. Long pull of Edwards pushing him out. Como. One more pass. Young rings it off the crossbar. This ball will go out of play, but a velocity of a shot coming off the pole of Graham Young. And Auburn retains the possession. This one just bouncing out of play. Ref going over, confirming with the scores table. After the shot, Auburn retains the possession, and it's whistled back in. Como hits hard, and he retreats it. Ryan Como, the team's leading scorer, hasn't been anywhere near a cage. Hokies defense doing a good job isolating him. Maroney to his left. Takes the shot and snipes the corner. Going top left corner. Maroney has his 5th of the season, and the Tigers are on the scoreboard for the first time in quarter number 2. Sniping that top right corner of Gavin Larson. Ending a 10-plus minute drought against Auburn on the scoring department. Maroney, the sophomore out of Morristown, New Jersey. Had a hat trick against USF for 3 of his 5 goals now on the season. And just an absolute rout for this Auburn team, taking down the Bulls 17-3 to open up their SELC conference play. The Bulls have struggled this year, 0-5 in the Southeastern Lacrosse Conference. Face-off won by Auburn. Tigers slowing it down at X. Four minutes to go before halftime. Tigers trailing by 1. Luff takes the shot and bullets it out of play. Possession stays with the Tigers. At X with it, trying to make a move. Here's Como. Luff. Just passes it out of play, so Virginia Tech will get it after the turnover. Hokies now on the offensive possession. Larson makes a nice move, and he will just retreat, or pass it on over, rather, to Zach Taylor. Hokies slowing it down in the box. Just about 3 minutes to go before the halftime break. Shot, and this one's a goal. Bouncing it past the goalkeeper, Alex Ashley's got his second of the afternoon. Right place, right time, and Ashley now with 14 goals on the season.
Let's go, Jack.
Continuing to lead Virginia Tech in 2025.
Go, big 1-1.
5-3 now, our score. Garrett and Valente on the face-off. Here on this chilly Friday afternoon in the Berg. Into the open space. Weyer unable to corral the ground ball. Scrum for it still. Neither team got the possession, and it's eventually Auburn that has it before a timeout taken by the Auburn sideline. J.J. Arminio will talk things over with his squad. 2:53 to go in the first half. We'll step aside on the Virginia Tech Men's Lacrosse YouTube page and come back with the conclusion of half number 1. Out of the Auburn timeout, Tigers looking to get one more on the scoreboard in the final 3 minutes of half number 1. Adams working on board. Tries to pass it at X, instead airmails it. And the Hokies will take it the other way. Jack Wingfield, the long pole with it on the clear attempt. Larson met with a light hit. Goalkeeper, risky pass to Droney, gets it over. And now the Hokies will take their time in the offensive end. Flybaum thought about the X position, instead just bounces it on over to O'Sullivan. And an offsides called against Virginia Tech. So the whistle goes in favor of the Tigers. And Auburn moves it right to left. Quick restart from Andrew Luff, the sophomore from Charlotte. Pass, and Tobin rings it off the side piping. Declan Tobin was cutting, got the pass, just unable to beat the pipe. Morgan with some speed to him. Zach Morgan to slow it down. Final 90 ticks of half number 1. O'Sullivan. Being guarded by Lencioni. Final minutes. O'Sullivan being double teamed. The long pole comes on over. Ball's knocked loose. And the Tigers able to grab it. Graham Lyle, right to left, and he just loses it out of the head of his stick. Harrington, pass on over to Larson. Is looking for Blybaum. Stock's unable to keep it in. So a timeout taken by Virginia Tech. And it will be Auburn ball when we return. 24 seconds to go in the second quarter. We'll step aside and be right back. Final 24 seconds here of the first half. You're watching Virginia Tech men's lacrosse here on YouTube. Auburn with the ball after the Virginia Tech timeout. Tigers looking to clear. Met with a hard double team. Just corralling it is Auburn. They stay in the offensive ends. And a timeout will be taken by J.J. Arminio. Stopping the clock with 8 seconds to go. Auburn going to try to talk things over, get another goal. Only one goal in quarter number 2 for the Tigers. You look at the distribution of their goals through the first 6 games they've played. They've been outscored in quarter number 2, 16-17 entering play today. Overall, they hold a +4 advantage on the goal differential. They just the 2-for-4 record, 2-and-4 record to show for it. But they've been playing good lacrosse as of late. Winners against West Virginia and South Florida their last 2 times out. They'll go and take on Tennessee tomorrow, another ALC opponent. So Auburn looking to start the road stretch off with a win here today. And as for Virginia Tech, again opening up a 3-game home stretch, their lone game of the weekend here today. Next weekend they'll welcome in Texas and Georgia Tech before they hit the road and head to the West Coast. Chapman and San Diego State lying Virginia Tech's way over spring break. And then a nice trip down to Raleigh, North Carolina to meet the Wolfpack of NC State before coming back home to wrap up the home season. That's Tennessee, the final home game of the season. Of course, last year, that's what the ALC division came down to, was Virginia Tech, Tennessee down in Knoxville. The Volunteers were victorious in that one. Determined who got the bye in the ALC conference tournament. But 2025 is a new year, and the Hokies are destined to return to the top of the promised land in the Atlantic Lacrosse Conference. 8 ticks to go before halftime. Auburn with the ball. And Maroney. Whistle puts it back in play. Maroney shots. Stopped by the big spoon of Larson. Larson just heaves it downfield, and this will take us to the halftime intermission. We've played half the game here in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech 5, Auburn 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 10 minutes with the second half between the Tigers and the Hokies. 5-3 Virginia Tech leads coming out of halftime in quarter number 3. Here from the Marching Virginians field in Blacksburg, Virginia. Braden Schenk with you. So glad to be with us on the Virginia Tech Men's Lacrosse YouTube channel. Hokies and the Tigers back and forth for a majority of the opening 30 minutes before Hokies used a little 3-goal run to take a 4-2 lead before Auburn added one on late in the quarter. Cut it down to a 5-3 deficit. First face-off of the new half whistled in. Valente and Garrett going after it. Hold called.
Let him know, Cal.
Restarted for the Tigers. Team switch sides for quarter number 3. Clemson from left to right on your screen. Virginia Tech from right to left. Again, a chilly day in Blacksburg. Temperatures hovering around 30 degrees. You add the wind, add the chill to it. Feels a little bit like 20 degrees out here. Although the good news is the sun is out and shining, so that helps us a little bit. Lobato trying to dodge towards Cage. Pass, point blank, stopped by Larson. Gavin Larson able to make a big save, and the Hokies on the clear. Weyer just passing through some traffic. Ground ball fielded by the Clemson shorty and Cummins. The long pole of Cummins, I should say. Tigers slow it down in their offensive end, trailing by 2. Tobin trotting his way behind the cage. He scored the man-up goal for Auburn to make it 2-1. Tries to shovel it in, but Larson deflects it away and out of play. So Gavin Larson, the goalkeeper, mans his post. And a restart comes for Hokie goalkeeper. Droney passes it along the 50 on over to Taylor. There's Kyle Dixon with it. Hokies using 2 goals from Trevor Stocks, 2 from Alex Ashley. And an offsides called against Virginia Tech. That gives the ball right back to Auburn. There's Slack left to right with it. Auburn able to slow things down with Jackson Derrick, the sophomore from Olney, Maryland. 4 goals to his name, number 9 in blue. Tigers, of course, taking the trip up north for this game. They'll stay in the region to take on Tennessee tomorrow in the Volunteers. A lot of teams doing that, come and playing the 2 games in the weekend. Young, shot stopped by Larson. Normally you see the Virginia Tech Liberty combination. But Tennessee is a team that's really come on in the last couple of years. Chris Edwards, a nice move. Triple team just airs it on over to Weyer. Callum Weyer loses it to the Auburn defense. Derek trots it into the box. He's picked up by the opposite number 9 in Zach Taylor. Slows it down at the X. Young to Tobin. Tobin's shot just high. Tobin rifles it out of play. Ball stays with Auburn. 11:30 to go in quarter number 3. Tobin has a goal already, looking for another. Low-scoring affair from Blacksburg. Second ever meeting between Virginia Tech and Auburn. Hokies took the inaugural edition 2 years ago down in Auburn. 17-2 the final. It's the back half of the home and home here today. Morgan Pass to Blybaum. One more finds its way to Stocks. Verrier with some space. His shot just deflected away. The restart to come to Alex Ashley. Lang's shots, and he snipes a goal. How about Dylan Lang with a big goal? And the Hokies up to 6 in the ballgame. His 6th of the season for the sophomore from Maryland. 2 goals against UNC, 2 against High Point, 1 against Liberty, and now can add 1 against Auburn to his resume. As Toomey and Garrett will get set for the face-off to follow. Of course, as we mentioned, a doubleheader here today from the Marching Virginians field. The Division II team will take on Dayton following the conclusion of this game. Last year, the inaugural year of the Division II team, we only saw 1 doubleheader, which was opening day for both of those teams. But the first of 2 doubleheaders we'll see on the schedule this year. Kicked out into the open space for Auburn. And Craig Morgan and the Tigers will move it left to right. Morgan on the clear. The goalkeeper wearing the shorts out there, one of the only Auburn players in the shorts. Again, it's 30 degrees here, folks.
Go, Jeremy!
Maroney will slow it down at the 40. Again, thank you for tuning in to this presentation of Virginia Tech men's lacrosse here on YouTube. Braden Shank with you. So glad you can be with us wherever you may be tuning in from. For Auburn and Virginia Tech, game 6 of the season. Hokies looking to avoid dropping to 500, looking to pick up their first win since April 8th against Liberty. Adams. Bounce shot stopped by Larson. Gavin Larson with a big stop before he turns it over to Luff. Luff winds it up and Larson makes another save. Gavin Larson, a brick wall for Virginia Tech and Cage. Back-to-back saves for the sophomore. Entered in a 64% save percentage. And already another magnificent day for Gavin Larson. Hokies looking to get some offense after the save from their keeper. Harrington in the box with it. Working his way on Lencioni.
It's wide open.
Blybaum knocked loose, and eventually the long pole of Caligus fields it for the Tigers. Some pushing and shoving, and the Tigers pass it just out of play. Too much on it. And a restart to come for Virginia Tech. Wingfield slings this one on over to Harrington at the 50. Able to pass its way into the box. Sullivan able to regroup with it. 6-3 Virginia Tech leads here in quarter number 3. Alex Ashley takes the shot, shoots it just wide and out of play. Possession stays with Virginia Tech. Whistled back in. Stocks has it at X. O'Sullivan tries to get his way up the lane. Dishes out Harrington. Preston Harrington. Shoots it just out of play. Restart coming for Auburn. Had to find it a second. And that pass will be airmailed out of play. Ball to Auburn. So after the out of bounds, the Tigers will get the possession back halfway through quarter number 3. Forsyth, he opened the game with the first goal back in quarter number 1. Just about 9 minutes gone here in quarter number 3. Young shoots and scores. Auburn cuts the deficit down to 2. Graham Young able to put his first goal up of the afternoon. Just weaving his way through some defenders, has an open space, took the shot and scored for his 9th goal of the season. Young, a guy that's taken 40 shots through the first 6 games for the Tigers. Just able to bury a goal right there past Larson. The Tigers have just their 2nd goal since the first quarter ended. Hokies defense has been able to keep Auburn at bay, in big part keeping their leading scorer at bay. Number 42, Ryan Como, yet to score. 11 goals entering play for the transfer out of LaGrange College. Face off, Garrett able to win it. Ball knocked loose. And the Hokies field it, Bleibom. And
Nice run, Ford. Nice run.
ball was knocked out of play with it, so Virginia Tech losing the possession. As the Tigers try to bring it left to right.
Watch your helmet.
Falling to the ground, getting back up is Forsyth. Fights his way through a hit. Tigers got some space. Flag thrown. Young takes a shot and rifles it just wide, but the penalty to come. Two flags down on the fields. We'll see who they get on the penalty. .30-second penalty goes against Virginia Tech. So their player will take a knee in the box, and Auburn returns to the man up. I haven't been keeping track of it, but either their 4th or 5th man-up opportunity for the Tigers so far. They've only converted on the one, the Declan Tobin goal. But a good opportunity here for the Tigers to potentially get one back. Around the horn they go with it. Shots, and this one's a goal. Auburn able to convert on the man up and give it to number 42, Ryan Como. Como, we talked about it, the leading scorer for Auburn, has been kept at bay through the first 2.5 quarters, and now he makes his mark on this game as it's a 6-5 game, still in favor of Virginia Tech, but the Tigers have scored back-to-back goals. 4 goals against West Virginia last time out for Como, and now he's got another for the preseason SELC watch list selection. Back to the face-off. Valente and Garrett. Valente just holding strong. Garrett trying to pry the ball loose. He's able to do so as the Fogo for the Tigers win it. Maroney. Hitting the final third of quarter number 3. Clemson has not led this game since they led 2-1 in a low-scoring affair from the Marching Virginians fields. Philippus. At X, Derek tries to make a move. Maroney able to save it, keep the possession alive. Flag thrown. Shot deflected away, and Zach Morgan will get hit with the penalty. Tries to plead his case with the referee. However, Zach Morgan will be heading to the box.
Here we go, Jamie.
A 1-minute penalty against Morgan. And just like that, the Tigers return to the man advantage.
Yeah. Back don't go click. Back don't make that sound.
4 minutes and some change to play here in quarter number 3. Tigers on the man advantage. Looking to capitalize and knot us up at 6 apiece. Young shot, he skips it in. Graham Young, his second of the day, and just like that, it's a 6-6 ball game. This Auburn team, a newfound energy in them here in half number 2. And it's been their ability to convert on the man-ups. 6-6 our score. 4 minutes and some change still to play in quarter number 3. Morgan does leave the box after the goal. Valente and Garrett back to take the face-off. Pretty even at the X thus far. Into the empty space. Hit, no call. And eventually a flag thrown, and they will blow it dead as it goes against Auburn. So the Tigers will be hit with a penalty here, and Virginia Tech will now go man up after they were just man down. 30-second penalty against the Tigers. Does some pushing and shoving along the midfield, and Virginia Tech on the receiving end of the man-up advantage. And a tied game here on a chilly Friday afternoon. Barrier to restart it. Hokies looking to take the lead right back after they lost it back-to-back goals from Auburn. Barrier on over to Dixon. Here's Trevor Stocks. Blybaum goes 5-hole. Jake Blybaum slamming the hammer, his first of the afternoon, and the Hokies take the lead right back. It's 7-6. Great sequence ending with the junior from Baltimore finishing off with his 11th goal of the campaign. And just like that, Virginia Tech leads it by 1. (7-6) the score here in quarter number 3. Hokies looking to win their 24th consecutive home game dating back to 2023. Have not lost a game at this Marching Virginians field since Game 2 of the 2023 season. Virginia Tech goes a little early. Valente called for the false start at the face-off dot. There was Auburn that was called for the quick start. My apologies. So the ball given to Virginia Tech. Sullivan tries to find its way to Stocks. He's hit to the ground, and it will be a push called against Auburn. Tigers were looking for the crease violation. They won't get it. Whistled back in. Dixon starts his dodge towards Cage. Dixon once again trying to fight his way, bouncing off the left leg of Morgan. A rebound grab by Virginia Tech, fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock. That's something the NCAA game adapted this year, cutting it down to a 60-second reset after the offensive rebound. The MCLA still back with the old model, 80-second full resets. So the Hokies getting an extra 20 seconds on the shot clock, you could say. Similar to the basketball where you have 30 seconds originally, and then 20 seconds on the offensive rebound, 24 and 14 in the NBA. Behind the back and through some traffic, Morgan will field the ground ball. And the whistle will keep it with Virginia Tech. Call goes against Morgan. Hokies quick restart. Lucas Verrier. Passing on over to Lang. Stocks looking for his hat trick. Tries to fight his way through Cage, instead just dishing off to the next guy. Shot just wide from Verrier. Virginia Tech maintaining the possession.
There you go.
Blybomb tries shoveling it in. Crease violation called, and Auburn will get the ball. Tigers quick on the restart here. Taking the shot, going just wide, and a flag will be thrown. Auburn was taking their shot at a somewhat empty Cage as Gavin Larson came out of his crease. So now the referees will meet and we'll have a call with 1:09 to go in quarter number 3. There is a flag down on the fields. And the penalty will go against Gavin Larson. So the goalkeeper will take a knee in the box. Andrew Wickman checks in. In the attempt to kind of save it, Larson did throw his stick up into the air. And the referees hit him with a penalty for it. So Wickman and Cage, Auburn on the man up. Hokies trying to kill it off, get back to full strength in the final minutes. Como shoveling on off to Young. Young with 2 goals to his name, both in the third quarter. Up from the point, Luff shot, and he scores. Andrew Luff ties us up, and the Tigers convert on yet another man-up look. Very lethal team when the Auburn Tigers are given the extra man, and they've been able to convert on 3 straight man-ups now to tie it up at 7 apiece. The So with just about 40 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Kotarski and Valente to take the face-off draw. Here late in quarter number 3. The Tigers win the face-off, and Auburn's got some momentum to them here in quarter number 3.
What up, Jamie?
Looking for one more in the lead.
Good time, let's go!
Maroney. Shot through some traffic. And a flag will be thrown right at the buzzer. So that will take us to the end of the third quarter. They'll take them off the field. 3 quarters in the books, knotted up at 7 apiece here at the Marching Virginians field. An exciting finish on its way. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Virginia Tech men's lacrosse. Now my hands are really starting to go. Oh God! Yeah, we're definitely getting in that car after this game.
Why do we do this?
I don't know.
Yo, no lacrosse.
So here we go in quarter number 4. The penalty at the buzzer going against Virginia Tech will give the automatic face-off win to Auburn. So they'll just start with it on their own offensive ends. So we begin quarter number 4. 7-7 our score. Tigers looking to convert on one more man up. Converted on the last 3.
I'd like to see stats. How many flags on that? I think they've had 2 on them. 10.
Shot bounced just high and out of play. Possession staying with Auburn here in quarter number 4. The Auburn bench very fired up in this game, trying to come away with a big road victory and keep their winning streak alive. As for Virginia Tech, looking for their first win in nearly 2 weeks as the Tigers get a goal. Graham Young, his hat trick and another man-up score gives Auburn their first lead since 2-1.
So their goals, 5 of their goals were on man up.
Hokies find themselves down now with 14 minutes to play in regulation. Trying to avoid losing their first game at home since 2023. Valente and Garrett back on the face-off. A back-and-forth game, and just neither team has really been able to pull ahead. Somebody went early, and they're going to give the ball to Virginia Tech. So the Hokies get it in the offensive end. Auburn looking to even off the season series at 1 apiece. Virginia Tech looking to sweep the home and home. Hokies just looking for a goal here. Shot stopped by Morgan. Fighting for the second chance look. Kicked out into the open space. Ashley able to field the ground ball and fight off some contact. Ashley still has it, shoots it. Morgan falls to the ground to make the save. Alex Ashley looking for his hat trick. But the Auburn goalkeeper had other plans, as this pass will just go into the crowd out of play.
Here we go, Graham. Put some good juju on that ball, eh?
Restart for the Hokies.
Hey, shake it off, 50.
Alex Ashley being guarded by the short stick for Auburn. There's Trevor Stocks up the lane, shoots through some traffic. And eventually O'Sullivan's able to corral the ground ball. Here's Dylan Lang.
Pass the ball around. Jeez.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Hokies got to get something off.
Get yourself in trouble.
Just trailing by 1 goal. Trevor Stocks tries the swim move. Takes the shot, falls to the ground. And the whistle will come in.
Pass the ball around. So what do we know?
Hokie players slow to get up. Ball will be going to Auburn on the resumption. So the Tigers will go on the clear. Whistled back in. 12 minutes to go in regulation. Hokies find themselves with backs up against the wall in quarter number 4.
No flag there, though.
Really aggressive play along that far sideline. Ball goes out, and who are they giving the ball to? They're going to give it to Virginia Tech. Both sidelines were calling for it. They thought it was their ball. Nonetheless, it's the Hokies that come away with it.
Here we go, D!
Thank you for tuning in to this presentation of Virginia Tech men's lacrosse here on this Friday afternoon in Blacksburg. Division II lacrosse coming up next, Dayton and Virginia Tech. As we continue to bear the elements here. Below 30 degrees, windy, snow on the ground here in Blacksburg. Dixon behind the back pass. This one just high of Lang, and Auburn will get it back. Tobin with some space. Declan Tobin slowing things down. Auburn in no rush whatsoever. They control a 1-goal lead over Virginia Tech. No official poll has been released by the MCLA. However, that's coming up in the next week or so, the first New Balance coaches poll. Every team anxious to see where they'll stack up. Auburn, a team that had a lot of hype coming into this season, and then you drop your first 4, and then all of a sudden you find yourself having to claw back into it, and that's what they've done the last 2 games. Wins against USF and West Virginia to bring them back to 2-4 on the season. Tobin, bounce shot over the head of Larson and out of play. Auburn will maintain the possession. Whistled back in. Tigers looking for some more. X-play from Young. He's got his hat trick. Graham Young going top right corner, and the Tigers now build themselves a 2-goal lead. Graham Young continuing to torch Virginia Tech. And now the Hokies need 2 goals if they want to come back here. 9-7, Auburn leads.
She's a big kid.
Valente and Garrett on the face-off.
Uses his body.
2 goals for the Tigers in quarter number 4 has given them a 9-7 advantage.
2 or 3.
Stalemate at the face-off dot. Garrett fields the ground ball. Declan Tobin to slow things down in the offensive end for Auburn. Adams checking in. Under 10 minutes to go in regulation. Adams intercepted. Wayer. He's got some speed to him. Hokies with numbers. Stock slowing things down in the offensive end. And Trevor Stonk's waiting for his attacking unit to come on out. Here's Alex Ashley starting his dodge along the far wing. Takes a shot, stopped by Morgan. Craig Morgan continuing to make big saves down the stretch to keep his Tigers in this game. Looking to clear it. Big head along the 50. Just shoveling it on over. And Alex Ashley unable to come away with it. The long pull of Edwards. Still ping-ponging around. And they will give it to Virginia Tech. So they'll whistle it back in. Hokies with the possession. Late in quarter number 4. Tripped up, losing the ball. Auburn with some numbers. It's a one-on-one. And there's going to be a whistle called stopping play. A flag all the way back on the other side of the fields. So it would have been a fast break opportunity for the Tigers. However, the whistle and the flag will call it off and give Virginia Tech the man-up advantage. As Reese DeFilippis will take a knee in the box. Eight minutes, 30 seconds left to play in regulation. Quarter number 4 between Virginia Tech and Auburn. What has been a great afternoon of lacrosse here in Blacksburg. Restart to come for Kyle Dixon and Virginia Tech. Hokies given a golden opportunity here, trailing by 2, man up. Verrier shot and he nets it. Lucas Verrier man up goal. And just like that, the Hokies cut the deficit back down to 1. With 8:20 to go in regulation. That was a big goal from Lucas Verrier. Had 5 goals entering play today. And just a snipe of a shot past Morgan. Neither team yet to hit double digits here. Late in quarter number 4. Toomey and Garrett to take the next draw. After the Hokies were able to capitalize after the man up. Toomey able to knock it loose for Morgan to field it. And Zach Morgan, the native of Franklin County, just slows it into the box. 8 minutes to play in regulation. Hokies trailing by a goal. Here's Verrier. Alex Ashley, he's got 2 goals today. Ashley, nice spin move, missing off the near side of the nets. And Zach Morgan falls to the ground to corral the ball. Jack Slack across the 50 with it. Auburn trying to claw onto this 1-goal advantage. What a game it's been in Blacksburg thus far. Hitting the home stretch. Andrew Luff. Pass that X with it. Back on over along the far wing. Forsyth. Auburn just continuing to run the clock out as Wayer's able to get the interception. Callum Wayer taking it into the box. Big interception for the long pull. Wayer pass on over, finds its way to a guy in Dylan Lang. Kyle Dixon starting his dodge. Takes the shot and scores. What a goal for big number 41, and Kyle Dixon knots us up at 9 apiece. Tied once again in Blacksburg, 5:52 to go, and just a big-time goal for the senior from New York. Just went right up the lane, sniped that top right corner of Craig Morgan, the goalkeeper. And now a timeout taken by Panchito Ojeda. 9-9 our score, 5 minutes, 52 seconds to go in quarter number 4. Don't go anywhere, you're watching Virginia Tech men's lacrosse. Five minutes, 52 seconds to go in regulation. Hokies 9, Auburn 9, here on a chilly Friday afternoon in Blacksburg. Some inter-division play. The Atlantic Coast Conference's best, Virginia Tech, against the Southeastern Lacrosse Conference's best, as a flag is thrown in the backfield. We'll see who they call a penalty on, but someone's getting a man-up advantage here. and it's going to go against Virginia Tech. So Auburn returns to the man up, a place they have been so lethal at all game. The Tigers get the man up advantage here in the final 5:40. Hokies bench starting to make some noise. Try to get on this Auburn team.
They have 9. I'm telling you. Almost see the stats. 6 of these, 7 of these are going to be man up. Go.
Trickling around that corner. Ground ball scooped up from DeFilippis.
Oh, I don't know how.
Tobin takes the shot. Sends it just high, out of play. Penalty is also expired off. So the Hokies back to full strength. Last second shot for Auburn. Not able to convert on this man up.
What's that?
Andrew Luff wearing the number 8 in blue. Shot stopped by Larson. Gavin Larson making a big time save, and the sophomore will now try to command the offense. And a whistle goes against Virginia Tech. Auburn will get it right back. Fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock for the Tigers. Young with 4 goals today. And that ball is cleanly stripped. Zach Taylor left to right with the Hokies. Aiden O'Sullivan around the perimeter they move. 4 minutes to go in regulation. 9-9 our score. What a game it's been in Blacksburg. Lucas Verrier scored the last for Virginia Tech. He shoots it just wide, out of play. And the restart to come for Jake Blybaum. Blybaum gets his footing. O'Sullivan thought about the shot, sends it back up top. Stocks working on the long pole. Takes the shot, and he scores! Trevor Stocks, his hat trick couldn't have come at any bigger of a time. And the Hokies take a 10-9 lead with 3:36 to play in regulation. What a goal by the Virginia Beach, Virginia native. 8 goals on the season now, and the Hokies in double digits. (10-9) our score, just a few minutes left, and now a big face-off to ensue between Aiden Garrett and Chris. Won by Garrett. He takes it over Valente. Slack to Tobin. Shot just wide off the pole of Como. Auburn was trying to get it to their leading scorer. Como with 1 to his name today. Unable to get his second. Lobato will slow it down. He's got 2 goals on the season. Tobin. Tobin makes a move. Bounces it, stopped by Larson. Second chance. Goes just out of play. Hokies able to hold strong on the defensive end. And now Virginia Tech goes to clear it. Chris Edwards fighting through some contact. Dixon has it in the offensive box. Virginia Tech trying to come away with a late sneaky victory against Auburn. Tigers have played a near perfect game here, converting on the man-ups, making the stops, holding a prolific Virginia Tech offense to just 10 goals. But the Hokies looking for the insurance. Shot just wide. Dixon unable to grab it.
No reason to do it.
Restart to come for Blybaum. They whistle it in. And a flag will be thrown against Auburn. So Virginia Tech, the free possession.
I don't know what he's bitching about. It was definitely.
And Auburn will. Dixon just running his way around. 1:40 to go in regulation. Again, there is a flag on the field that will go against Auburn, which that might be the dagger for this Tigers team. Just 1 second on the shot clock, and they'll just float it up and away. Smart move by the Hokies to take the shot clock violation there, drain all 80 seconds. Now they will get a fresh 80 seconds. Still with a little over 1:30 to play. Can't necessarily run it out. And a timeout will be taken by Auburn. Hokies lead it by 1. It's crunch time in Blacksburg. A 1:30 and some change left here in Blacksburg. Hokies 10, Auburn 9. Virginia Tech trying to get back in the win column for the first time since February 8th when they took down Liberty, trying to get off of a 2-game losing streak. Penalty went against Auburn, so a man up for Virginia Tech. And again, the Hokies got a fresh 80-second reset on the shot clock after they just took the shot clock violation to run the clock down. Lucas Ferrier. Hokies just wandering around with it and no sense of urgency whatsoever. Stocks. Ferrier faked it. Looking for that dagger goal here in the final minutes. Auburn could use a big turnover here. Ball goes out of play, and they're going to give it to Auburn. And now the refs will meet. There was some pushing and shoving, and no call by our near side referee. And they're going to give it to Virginia Tech. So the call is overturned. Hokies ball.
Really good, you're missing it.
And Now our third referee will come into the conversation. So all three referees now meeting. 49 seconds to play in regulation. Hokies have a 1-goal lead. This is a big call right here. If Auburn gets the possession, they can set the offense up, try to force overtime.
I see. What game are you watching?
But if not, Virginia Tech will maintain the possession. Hokies still man up. They're going to keep it with Virginia Tech and wander the shot clock down. And for those of you that are Virginia Tech men's lacrosse faithfuls, you know the old tradition. You can't just set the shot clock. You got to let it tick down from 90. So now we wait until the shot clock hits 36 seconds until we resume play. And here we go. Final 49 seconds. Auburn desperately needs a turnover. Virginia Tech just trying to run out the final 40 seconds. Shot clock and the game clock do have a small difference on them. Just using the speed as Taylor. Flicking it on out to O'Sullivan. 18 seconds to go. And now a whistle call. That will be our shot clock. It will be our shot clock violation, so Auburn will see it with 10 seconds. Both coaching staffs now getting into it. 10 ticks to go. Can Auburn go the length of the field and get the goal to send us to overtime? Forsyth to restart.
They've been shooting nonstop for a whole game. Running and running.
And here we go. Final 10 seconds of regulation.
We're going to give them 10 seconds to come down here.
Young. Shots. Just out of play. And the clock has hit triple zeros. And they're going to put 1 second on it. 1 second on the clock. Auburn will need practically a miracle.
Be 1 second.
And a timeout taken by Bonchito Ojeda. You had to come all the way out to the other side of the field to call that timeout. But it did feel like there was another second or two on the clock, and everyone looked over, saw it hit triple zeros, and they will put 1 second on the clock and give Auburn the chance to tie this game, but they need a quick restart, find a cutter, shoot it, and score all in 1 second to send this game to overtime. Boy, it's been a good one here at the Marching Virginians Field in Blacksburg. Back and forth all afternoon. The Hokies led by 2. Auburn came back. They had a 2-goal lead. Virginia Tech has scored the last 3 goals in this game to make it 10-9, and that's where we've stood for a majority of this fourth quarter. And again, for all you Division II lacrosse fans, that match coming up right after this, Dayton and Virginia Tech. Same YouTube page you can find that you're watching this game on right now. You can find the D2 game. Flyers looking to come away with a big win against the Virginia Tech D2 team in their season opener, while D2 looking to go to 2-1 on the season. But here we go. Both teams break their huddle. 1 second to play. Auburn trying to find a miracle here. Virginia Tech just trying to hold the fort and walk away with their 4th win of the season. And now a timeout called by Auburn. So J.J. Arminio will continue to talk things over with his Tigers. And he'll pull the whiteboard out for the first time this afternoon, draw up the play. And you really wonder, with just 1 second left, how much you can do as an offense. But Auburn's had a lot go their way to get the ball in this scenario. The only thing that really killed them in this scenario was the man down they went on. You don't get that penalty, all of a sudden you have more than a second to work with. But they took a good shot off the pull of Young, just went wide and high of that top right corner. So as a result, Virginia Tech, I guess you could say, made the stop on it, but Auburn will still now be forced to do something here. 1 second to play. both teams break their huddle. They'll box up just outside the crease. You almost need someone to just dunk it in. Restart to come for Ryan Como and Auburn. A whole scrum in front of the crease. Referee's making sure nobody steps in. Whistled in. And that is the game. Virginia Tech able to hold strong thanks to a late goal, and they walk away winners 10-9 over Auburn. What a game it was here on this Friday afternoon. And Virginia Tech keeps the home winning streak intact, and they move to 4-2 on the young season. And an overall well-rounded effort. That's going to do it for us here on the Virginia Tech Men's Lacrosse YouTube channel. For our camera operator, Cody Wagner, I've been Braden Shank saying so long. Again, Division II lacrosse coming up at about 15 minutes or so as Dayton and Virginia Tech will go to battle. That can be seen right here on the Virginia Tech Men's Lacrosse YouTube channel. But again, Virginia Tech takes down Auburn 10-9 on the D1 side. Have a good afternoon and come back for some Division II lacrosse action.